Many experts assert that a wide range of environmental issues, most notably pollution, are brought about by emerging economies, which is an inevitable phenomenon. The sentiment is not completely supported, and the reasons will be explained in this essay. In conclusion, fast-paced economic development is deemed utterly detrimental to the Earth's ecosystem. Therefore, elaborate plans should be devised immediately to combat the serious problems. The surging popularity of the English language around the globe is believed by scholars to bring more merits than drawbacks. This assessment is indeed endorsed for a number of reasons, which will be thoroughly analyzed in this essay. Ultimately, having the bulk of the global population speaking the same tongue is deemed immensely beneficial, and hence it is imperative that this trend be fully embraced by nations. Eminent critics increasingly voice the concerns that the surging popularity of computers and smartphones as a means of communication negatively impacts youngsters' academic skills, including reading and writing. I wholeheartedly agree with this comment, and explanations will be laid out in this essay. To conclude, excessive use of cutting-edge gadgets is thought to be incredibly harmful to the development of young generations, and it is recommended that preventive measures be taken swiftly to tackle this issue. More and more modern men and women claim that living today to the fullest is superior to worrying about tomorrow. This way of thinking, however, is indeed not endorsed on several grounds, which will be clearly explained in this essay. Overall, putting too much focus on the present while failing to map out future plans is deemed not only short-sighted, but also greatly damaging in the long term, and thus individuals are advised to refrain from following this trend. Many prominent scholars advocate that states need to assume complete control over all research activities in science instead of privatizing this field. This initiative is strongly supported, and the reasons will be thoroughly explained in this essay. To sum up, state-owned research is believed to majorly benefit both the scientific community and society at large. Therefore, nations should implement this policy immediately. Nationalists declare that news about domestic affairs should be one's sole focus, which is often met with strong opposition from those who perceive international stories to be superior. In this essay, both sides of the argument will be carefully evaluated in order to put forth a rational conclusion. Ultimately, nationwide news tends to be of paramount importance on a daily basis, but knowledge about major events around the globe can also be tremendously helpful in one's life, and thus individuals are urged to read both to stay well informed. Some art lovers repeatedly call on states to provide payouts to artists, while other fans argue that singers and dancers should be given financial aid by other institutions. Some art lovers repeatedly call on states to provide payout to artists, while other fans argue that singers and dancers should be given financial aid by other institutions. In this essay, both schools of thought will be analyzed in order to arrive at a sensible conclusion. In summary, allocating funds to sponsor those who create art seems to bring a wide range of benefits to private corporations, and hence companies are recommended to consider this initiative. Some experts criticize the practice of testing and grading students, while just as many academics deem exam results absolutely critical. In this essay, both views will be carefully evaluated in order to put forth a rational conclusion. Ultimately, academic evaluation is believed to be hugely useful for both learners and teachers, and it is highly recommended that this old-fashioned tactic be upheld in educational institutions. A significant number of advocates repeatedly assert that all species on Earth must be protected, but there are also critics arguing that only certain types need to be saved. In this essay, both sides will be carefully analyzed and a rational conclusion will be made. To sum up, conserving every life is deemed not only ethical but also immensely beneficial for the human race, and hence it is imperative that efforts be dedicated to the preservation of all animals, regardless of their rarity. Many individuals are perfectly satisfied with living in one neighborhood over the course of their life, while some men and women enjoy switching locations as frequently as possible. In this essay, two practices will be weighed up against each other in order to decide which one prevails. In conclusion, both living arrangements have their own merits and limitations. Hence, citizens are advised to take every factor into consideration before making accommodation plans. These days, an increasing number of students put off college for a year after their high school graduation in order to get a job or go on a trip. In this essay, both benefits and drawbacks of this practice will be carefully evaluated to put forth a rational conclusion. Ultimately, taking a temporary break from study to gain real-world experience is deemed immensely beneficial for youngsters, and hence, this initiative should be fully embraced by society at large. In this day and age, social media plays a dominant role in communication, so much so that direct conversations are being gradually eliminated. In this essay, both rewards and limitations of this trend will be analyzed in order to determine if one side does indeed prevail. In conclusion, over-reliance on online communication channels is believed to be utterly detrimental, regardless of the few negligible merits it might bring, and thus it definitely should not be endorsed. A soaring number of educational institutions are making it obligatory for students to get unpaid jobs while studying. In this essay, both upsides and downsides of this initiative will be carefully assessed in order to determine if students or corporations gain more from it. To sum up, the trend to make youngsters work for free is deemed fundamentally flawed, and hence schools are urged to refrain from devising this plan. In certain countries, minors are repeatedly assured that they will be able to accomplish any goal as long as they put in enough effort. In this essay, both anticipated benefits and potential drawbacks of this approach will be evaluated in order to arrive at a rational conclusion. Overall, the merit of encouraging little boys and girls to work relentlessly is deemed overwhelmingly dominant, regardless of the few negligible downsides it might have. Therefore, adults are recommended to fully embrace this initiative. In modern society, not only is fast food consistently gaining in popularity, Its price is also drastically decreasing worldwide. In this essay, both positive and negative impacts of this development will be laid out in order to determine if one side does prevail. To conclude, the staggering growth of junk food is deemed undeniably destructive to both individuals and society at large, and hence, governments are advised to impose stricter laws to combat this problem. In the modern day, individuals seem to get agitated easily due to various factors that are both internal and external. It is believed to cause damaging impacts, some of which will be analyzed in this essay. In conclusion, it appears that human beings are suffering from extremely negative feelings. Their well-being, as well as quality of life, in consequence, are deteriorating at unprecedented rates. An overwhelming number of individuals worldwide, no matter where they reside, increasingly opt for Western outfits instead of old-fashioned costumes. This widespread phenomenon is perceived to be harmful for a wide range of reasons, which will be clearly explained in this essay. Ultimately, men and women's obsession with Western fashion is deemed fundamentally detrimental to both individual expressions and cultural diversity. Therefore, this trend should not be encouraged. In this day and age, more and more weddings are becoming increasingly elaborate, which understandably cost hefty amounts of money. This practice is deemed relatively harmful, and the explanations will be laid out in this essay. In summary, couples dedicating substantial funding to celebrating their marriage is perceived to bring about adverse effects to both individuals and society at large. Hence, men and women are advised against following the trend. Paying for plastic surgery to enhance physical features is fast becoming popular among many men and women in modern societies. The practice, unfortunately, is thought to be utterly unwise on several grounds, which will be explained in this essay. To conclude, artificially altering one's natural look is deemed to cause undesirable effects to both individuals and society at large, and hence appropriate policies should be put in place quickly to combat the problem. In this day and age, an overwhelming number of minors dedicate significant portions of their day to playing with cutting-edge gadgets, most notably smartphones. In this essay, a number of arguments will be laid out to prove that this trend is largely negative. To sum up, excessive use of smartphones by little boys and girls is perceived to be completely detrimental to their well-being as well as society at large. Therefore, this trend should be discouraged. The fact that in many countries, all vehicles, most notably cars and bikes, are used on the same streets is creating an array of undesirable effects in the modern world. In this essay, predominant causes of this pressing issue will be identified and viable options will be proposed to combat it. Ultimately, noticeable differences in driving tactics as well as inadequate levels of competence are deemed the most dominant factors leading to clashes between car drivers and bike riders, and hence appropriate measures need to be devised immediately to eradicate this problem. In this day and age, the bulk of the population is being exposed to an overwhelming amount of advertising from a plethora of brands. In this essay, several effects of this widespread phenomenon will be examined, and feasible strategies will be presented to combat it. Overall, manipulative marketing tactics are deemed completely detrimental to citizens' well-being, and hence, governments should impose strict policies to eradicate this severe problem. An overwhelming number of young individuals strive to mimic the manners as well as fashion styles of celebrities who they absolutely adore. In this essay, prime causes of this popular practice will be determined and potential effects will be discussed. In summary, manipulative marketing tactics and immense peer pressures are deemed the most dominant factors leading to youngsters' obsession with public figures, while deteriorating well-being and severe financial problems are perceived to be the most detrimental consequences of this trend. These days, men and women enjoy significantly longer lives than they used to. In this essay, expected consequences of this change will be discussed and feasible strategies will be put forward to combat them. Ultimately, financial burdens and inadequate welfare are deemed the most adverse outcomes of longevity, and thus creative tactics need to be devised immediately to tackle the issue. Global warming is perceived by many eminent scholars to be one of the most formidable challenges facing society in this day and age. In this essay, main causes of this pressing issue will be identified, and suitable methods will be introduced to deal with it. To conclude, excessive energy use and lavish lifestyles are deemed the most dominant factors leading to the Earth getting drastically warmer. Therefore, it is imperative that elaborate plans be deployed in a timely manner to eliminate those severe problems. Many criminologists claim that the superior solution to soaring crime rates is heavier police surveillance on the street. This initiative is not completely supported for several reasons, which will be laid out in this essay, together with a number of more efficient approaches. Ultimately, an increased presence of police officers in public spaces is deemed to bring more undesirable ethics than solutions. Furthermore, better education on the law and stricter punishments are arguably more effective. In this modern age, forward-thinking individuals often suggest that elements of a lesson be conducted online to optimize teaching and learning experience. However, it is believed that this is unnecessary, and there are a plethora of methods that can be more effective and viable to be used in school. In conclusion, it should be restated that while the internet is an amazing tool, it is not the only way to bring about high-quality education. What is more, interactive activities and field trips held on a regular basis are deemed to produce greater results. Quite a few scholars repeatedly assert that the present is the best period in history. While this assessment is perceived to be completely accurate, there are several phases in the past in which one might desire to live as well. Overall, the living conditions in this day and age are deemed immensely beneficial for both individual citizens and society at large, but the dawn of time would also be an appealing state to live. A great number of youngsters who live in affluent nations increasingly choose to volunteer in underdeveloped regions. In this essay, predominant causes of this widespread phenomenon will be identified, and a rational conclusion will be put forth on who the main beneficiary is. In summary, while personal aspiration and immense social pressure are deemed the most dominant factors leading to young men and women dedicating their time to helping others, it is perceived to be undeniably beneficial for both volunteers and society at large. Technology has led to unprecedented transformation in various aspects of life, but the bulk of the older population often find it a formidable challenge to use state-of-the-art gadgets. In this essay, expected gains that technology can provide senior citizens will be discussed, and feasible methods will be proposed to urge them to increase their usage. To conclude, taking advantage of cutting-edge technologies is deemed immensely beneficial for old generations, and hence, well-thought-out plans focusing on this demographic need to be devised quickly.